Oh, okay, there we go. All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, my name is Phil Gallagher. I run Thraben University, and tonight we're once again going to be streaming some Death and Taxes. And hello to all of you who are going to be watching on YouTube later. I hope that you enjoy tonight's show, and I say show because, well, it's time to hoot people. This is the reward stream for hitting 450 followers, and we'll be playing 4 Judges Familiar tonight. Legacy, Staple, and All-Star. We get to hoot people. And, you know, obvious pun, I hope it's going to be a hoot. Judge's Familiar is a card that's sort of interesting. It's much better against the combo decks because you get earlier disruption and sort of another axis from which to go and attack people, but it comes at a cost. It's not a particularly good endgame top deck. One other neat thing it can do that a lot of our other cards can't is you can go turn 1 Familiar, turn 2 Jitte, turn 3, and equip and get in with Jitte with evasion over an annoying, like, creature on the ground, like, say, Deathrite Shaman. Boss says, you're going wild today. Did you actually get snow? Here everyone's just freaking out that it might snow. Oh no, we got snow. It snowed pretty hard for hours. I got out of school today. There's currently a 2-hour delay tomorrow, which is probably 50% or better to turn into another day out. Can't evolve spam Pidgeys because must watch hoot. I understand the Pokemon Go life, but I think Judge's Familiar is better than a Pidgey. You know, it's just good value. There is some question of what we want to do with the rest of the deck. So I'm thinking that game 1, we want to be really good against combo, right? So we'll play the Judge's Familiar into Thalia, into Wingmare, like that sort of thing should be relatively unbeatable versus combo. That means our sideboard should help to shore up some of the fairer matchups instead. And I would be worried about things like Miracles and Check Pile in particular, where this is so much of a worse endgame top deck than things like Mirran Crusader, Sarah Avenger, Recruiter, things of that nature. So I think to compensate for that, I'm going to put a Crusader and a Recruiter in the sideboard. And this will help round things out for matchups where Familiar isn't the best and we also have some weak cards. I think that'll work out okay. To make room for the Judge's Familiars, I did also trim a Revoker, and then the normal flex slots of like Crusaders, Prelate, Avenger, you know, those contribute towards this and the Wingmare. Gideon, lots of X1s. The emblem seems good there. I could buy that. I could also just accept the fact that if we play against Dread of Night, we lose. I would be fine taking that angle of attack with that deck list. Today is my favorite day. Glad to help. But I will accept that suggestion and run 2 Gideons in the sideboard over the 2 Cataclysms. The rest is relatively stock. Like, we'll play a couple of Paths, a couple of Canonists, a couple of Rest in Peace, Judgment, and whatnot. To make room for the Crusader and the Recruiter, in order to sort of just shore up fairish matchups, I cut the 3rd Path to Exile and the Sword of War and Peace. Yeah, stunting the triple fill stream is not going to happen a lot. You know, I'm kind of tired already going into the 3rd one, but you know, I got a lot of donations in the last week, and I wanted to churn through all of the like stored up donation streams that I had, and I've gotten through most of them now. I still owe a stream for hitting my first sub goal, which was 20 subs, and I still want to do a blue-white stream, that'll happen at some point, but otherwise I've gotten through all of my queued up donation streams. How did League go today? Very well. We 4-1'd both. So first stream was wins against a Vile Stoneblade deck, Bug Delver, Grixis Delver, and lands, and a loss to Maverick. Second stream was 3 wins against Delver decks, a loss against Red Prison, and a win against Check Pile, or what may have been Waterfalls. Little hard to tell. It was either Waterfalls that wasn't playing Bloodbraid, or it was Check Pile that, like, randomly had a Goyf and a Shardless Agent in. We didn't see too many cards that game, though. Vile Stoneblade. Yeah, Moxall. The list was real weird. It was like a 3 or 4 color Vile Days deck. You can check out the video either on Twitch or YouTube later. It was strange. All right, Stunton. All right, that was rough. Well played. Well played, Stunton. You were prepared for this stream. Well done. All right. Without further ado, I'm just gonna go ahead and jump right into a league here. I want to start playing before I get too tired. I'm kind of on a caffeine crash right now, and I don't want to have any more. I'm super sensitive to caffeine. Yeah, Esper Stoneblade with Vile is a good way to put it. I think there was a 4th color in there though. Like I feel like we saw some other stupid card. Looks like my opponent plays Grixis Delver. That's results from 2017. Alright, so if the Vile resolves, we get Vile Curve of Familiar into Stoneforge into Wingmare. If Vile doesn't resolve, with a Plains, I can play a reasonable Stoneforge-based game and have a piece of removal. If my opponent kept 7, I'd mulligan this. With my opponent taking a mulligan, I'm inclined to keep. So Ambition, do I ever want Brimaz or Palace Jailer in the main of White-White? Brimaz is a totally reasonable card. It is very good against Miracles. And still pretty great against Check Pile. Like, Brimaz with Caracas backup is pretty insane. I am not keen on Jailer right now. I think that the card has potential, but generally speaking, it can win you or lose you games equally as easily. Oh, there's 4 Judges Familiars in this list, in fact. I kind of want to remove this Deaththreat Shaman. My opponent's light on resources. I know they'll wasteland me right back. But I'm fine with them wastelanding me after this. And if I don't hit another land, I still have, like, Judge's Familiar to start beating them. But I really don't want them to wasteland me and then have access to 2 to 3 mana on the next turn. If I just, like, play out the Stoneforge there, and my opponent wastelands me, I can't actually do anything with that Stoneforge unless I spike another land. Alright, so my opponent is probably Nice and brainstorm locked here. We draw land, so 100% jamming the Stoneforge. If it gets dazed, so be it. It got forced. I will take that 2-for-1. That's fine. Force pitching another Spell Pierce. Holy cow. Double Spell Pierce. That's a bit unusual. I'm just going to keep using my mana as efficiently as possible. Well, Judge's Familiar isn't getting to come out and play right now. That's alright. Unsure if I will trade Wingmare for Delver given the opportunity. Revealing Lightning Bolt. Do you have another land for that Lightning Bolt, sir? Oh, you don't. I have bad news for you, sir. I have, in fact, very, very bad news for you. And I'm not going to attack in. I'm going to keep both of these alive. If my opponent attacks in, I'll crash back for more than they are hitting me for. Yeah, this is kind of gross. Storm is 1. Storm is 2. Storm is 3. And again, I'll just go ahead and pass the turn. That is an expensive brainstorm. And the opponent scoops it up. I wish I could attribute that win to Judge's Familiar there, but like double Wigmare stacking was disgusting. Alright, so we're playing against Grixis Delver. We are on the draw, and we win against DMX4. Game 1 win with double Wingmare. Easy as that. Opponent's mulligan did not help them. Owls and Pony take it home. Yes. Alright. So we'll bring in Path. We'll bring in Council's Judgment and Mirren Crusader. We'll consider Rest in Peace. We will board out Revokers. I hate to say it, but I don't think this is the Judge's Familiar matchup. It doesn't trade with Delver, which is super unfortunate. And I think the rest of our cards are better. And we'll probably not board in Rest in Peace. Maybe we keep one Owl. Or I could go up to a third Recruiter. Is the first Owl or the first Rest in Peace better? That's a real question. Animal Farm Dack. Blue-white menagerie. That's cute. So if I draw the Judge's Familiar in my opener and I just like nab a cantrip with it, that's pretty sweet. But it's going to be a weak endgame top deck. The Recruiter's a little slow. Like, I want some. I don't necessarily want a lot. The first Rest in Peace might be fine, just to, like, stop Deathrite Shaman shenanigans. I'll take Judge's Familiar 1. What's the logic for not playing Rest in Peace? Delver is starting to play a stronger post-sideboard game with more mid-range cards. And because of that, the like old sideboard plan of like just board in Rest in Peace is significantly worse against like all the like bullshit like True Name Nemesis, Liliana of the Last Hope, Liliana of the Veil, Marsh Casualties type cards that they've been playing. So we want some way to grind back against them. And I think Recruiter of the Guard is that way. To talk about this opening hand, the opening hand was minus the second Crixus, so it was a little bit of a weak opening hand, but I'm not going to pitch an opening hand that has, like, 2 early pieces of interaction and an endgame bomb. In Army of Thalia, let me say that I do not know that that is a correct sideboard plan. It is what I am doing now. And just because I am doing it doesn't mean that it is right. I'm going to just continue to the mana disruption line and let my opponent keep their Delver around for a turn. If it blind flips, so be it. I'll take a couple of damage, but then I can just remove it with the Swords to Plowshares that's in my hand. Fucking Marsh Casualties. Speak of the devil and it shall appear. Well, we'll try to counter that. So considering that they have Marsh Casualties, I want to remove this Underground Sea, and then we'll remove the Delver now. I don't want to do this first, because my opponent has a Daze, and they just Daze to protect the Underground Sea. That's annoying. How many humans are necessary to play Cavern of Souls? I don't think there's a set number there. I think you play Cavern of Souls if it makes sense for your deck to play Cavern of Souls. I think it's the variety of non-humans that makes it unplayable. And I'm just going to play out Plains here. I want to get closer to Batterskull mana rather than force them to Wasteland my Rishadan Port. My next play will be lead on a Crixus, have them blow up one of those. Hey ETW, welcome to the stream. What's up? Judge's familiar is what's up. But little Hoot Hoot Buddy died trying to protect Thalia from a Fork Bolt, but turns out owls aren't good against electricity. Just like Pidgey, weak against electric. Doing a survey for your school, you say? Excellent. Alright, opponent has seen second Crixus, so they know that wastelanding it isn't that great. But they've also seen Batterskull, which if they don't have a Daze or a Spell Pierce, it's kind of rough. Pidgey, best bird Pokemon. In Pokemon Go, that's certainly true. Alright, opponent digging for presumably something to answer this Batterskull. All those Spell Pierces they have probably got boarded out. Haven't seen a Force from them this game. Haven't seen a Daze from them this game. What's an Exile there? Delver's an Exile. I sent that there. Yeah, Pokemon Go still exists. Pithing Needle. Naming Sword of Fire and Ice or naming Batterskull? You have a discard spell from a Batterskull? No, you have a Deathrite Shaman. Alright. I can just absolutely jam the Batterskull here. But I think I have a better line. I think I just jam the Stoneforge. And if my opponent has a discard or a counterspell, this still probably requires a counter. So we'll say yes to Stoneforge's ability. Get Jitte. Cast Jitte. ETW, that's not a survey. That's just a negatively worded question. Like, you can't collect any meaningful data from that. If you want to collect good data, think like a scientist and try to qualify or quantify something in some way. Yep, thank you. We don't need negativity in this chat. So, do I want to jam the Batterskull? Kind of want to jam the Batterskull. My opponent wastelanded the port. That might mean they have days. I can Mom Jitte equip. But that's not really how, like, I don't want to, like, get feisty with a Mom if I don't have to. The upside to this resolving is absolutely monstrous. That's fine. So now we're a little bit behind on board, but not that behind. Alright, opponent trying to figure out how to cast their spells. Having trouble. Ban was fine, I approved the ban. We can move on. Alright, that was a critical turn where we needed to hit a creature. Hitting a creature meant we were pretty okay. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright, we're dead. Yeah, games are going quite well. So we're 1-1 currently against Grixis Delver here. So game 2, we sort of lost tempo and then died. The opponent having like a braid and bolt and forked bolt all was a little bit rough. We lost the batter skull to a daze, which we played into, but that was fine. We'll run back the same sideboarding plan. Yes, I would like to play first. Yes, I would like to keep this. This is a solid hand that plays around Wasteland at the beginning of the game. We have a Vial to get aggressive and allow us to use this Wasteland. This is strong. Yeah, Scudo, things went downhill real quick. Yeah, Ambition, trying out something like that would be fine. I'm just gonna Wasteland here. Next turn I have, like, put in stone. Alright, flip to Gataxian Probe. Blind flip Delver, best Delver. Now opponent gets to see exactly what our game plan is. Next turn I like, tick up Vial, put in Stoneforge, get Jitte, cast Jitte, and plan on Flicker Wisping the Stoneforge again. If the body's still around. So, Ambition, just going back to your question while I have time here. Flex slots are called flex slots for a reason. The core of the deck is very, very good. It doesn't matter too much what you do with some of the flex slots. Like, the deck's still going to be good no matter what. Alright, opponent does not skillfully blind flip second Delver. That's great for me. If this Vial survives and ticks up to 3, we will do dirty things with these Flicker Wisps in like 37 different ways. I kind of just want to remove a Delver completely for a turn. Alright, Fun reveals a Brainstorm. Opponent does their Desperation Brainstorm before I equip this Jitte onto one of these flyers and just get in and destroy them. Not a lot you can play for 1 mana there. You have a Gataxian Probe? Do you have a Concede? Say always no to that. Use Aether Vial's ability. No. It's a nice draw. Equip a Jitte onto a Flicker Wisp. Tap a Vial. Use the ability, yes. Flicker Wisp, target an idiot. Yeah, and the opponent concedes there, because I'll get to crash in for 5 and kill both Delvers. And then I have infinite power on the board. And that's that. Easy peasy. So we're on the play and we win. Game 3, win with Vial on 3 and 3 creatures. Done. Dank Confidant. Played against them before. I'm going to check my own data rather than MTG Goldfish. Oh no, I played against them before I started keeping track. Oh well. I'm on the draw here. I feel like my opponent played Grixis. Like, not like a Grixis control type deck. You remember them playing a lot of Storm? I'm going to keep this hand. Again, it's a pretty sweet Vial-based hand with a really aggressive curve up. Plus, we've been really good at drawing lands today, so no fear. Force Pitch Brainstorm. I would love my next draw to be a white source so that I can go Mom and Judge's Familiar. Alright, what do I want to do in the face of Ponder, Shuffle with Ponder? I'm going to guess that my opponent is playing like one of the Flavor of the Month decks, and they're either on Check Pile or Delver. So I think I'm just going to use my mana efficiently by playing a 2-drop, and we'll play a 2-drop that's good against anything. Yes, I will use this ability, and I think since I'm tight on mana, getting Jitte is pretty good. It's not the card I want for the matchup, but if I get Jitte and my opponent thinks that means I have something else, they'll probably remove the Stoneforge. And for mana purposes, if they have something like a Fatal Push, they'll probably just push the Stoneforge here. Yep, there we go. Alright, opponent digging, getting to look at a lot of cards. They don't have much for a proactive game plan right now. And this is the good old put 2 cards back with Brainstorm, Ponder, Shuffle with Ponder sort of situation. Oh no, they didn't shuffle because they finally found the fetch land they were looking for. Now what do I want to do? I don't really want to revoke before my opponent shows me a target, but I do want to like use my mana efficiently. Judge's Familiar doesn't do that. But I still think I'm going to play it. No, I'll play a Mom. I'll just bait more removal out. And if the Mom lives somehow, glorious. Alright, Snapcaster Fatal Push, that's fine. That's probably the confirmation that my opponent is on check pile rather than one of the other similar builds. Sort of want to just put Revoker on Jace preemptively now. Although just like playing out a Judge's Familiar so I can't get K commanded later is probably okay as well. Alright, opponent, there's my hand. There's a lot of stuff in it. Can't cast most of it. Search for his contest, sure. I don't want to accept that trade because I can cast the Jitte and then get through with Judge's Familiar if I just keep breaking on draws. And I am just bricking on draws. You want to Lightning Bolt my Judge's Familiar? I'm going to make you counter that, unless you pay 1. He couldn't pay 1. We got him, chat. We got the Lightning Bolt. We did it. Hoot hoot. Hoot hoot counter is 1. I forgot to actually make a hoot hoot counter command before this stream. That's okay. Cabal Therapy. You bet. I have plenty of things. Flicker Wisp. Alright, you get 2 of them. I really think my opponent should have, like, sacrificed the Snapcaster to take another one of my cards. Again, maybe that's just me. Destroy target tapped creature. I can't name a land with that. Let's blow up that Escanta, and if they want a card out of it, they have to tap it now. They take a ponder. We'll get that little fella out of the way, and then crash in for 2. We'll have Jitte equipped as an option if I don't draw another land. Yeah, Revoker and Pithing Needle are different cards. They're so close to functionally similar, but, you know, few big differences. Revoker can stop mana abilities, Pithing Needle can't. Revoker can't name lands, Pithing Needle can. Night, Scudo. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, Moxall, that sort of thing happens more often than you would think. Alright, opponent gets the sweet young Pyromancer value of take 2 of these cards away from me. That's annoying. Although, let the record show, I still think it was super incorrect not to, like, use one of the Cabal therapies with the Snapcaster previously. Alright, opponent kind of had it all this turn. I can attack in now to kill the young Pyromancer and essentially trade Revoker for young Pyromancer and another Jitte counter. But I'd rather hold this back defensively, I think. Like, if I get the young Pyromancer and this token off of the board, I'm still dead in 4 turns to this Gurmag Angler, and I have no board and no other prospects. If my opponent has another removal spell, not attacking here is super, super bad. But if they have another removal spell, I probably don't beat that anyway. Alright, opponent offers to trade. I will go ahead and accept that here. Because now this is like Revoker for Pyromancer plus. Gonna play a round discard here. Hey mods, thanks for getting that together and adding that command for me. I do appreciate it. I'll make sure to add that to my list of commands below the chat later. This elemental is probably going to hit us at least twice, so I'm fine with just shrinking this to gain 2 life over the course of 2 turns. That's the same as a plus on the Jitte counter. And we jam! Jam, 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 jam. I don't expect this to work. Alright, just legit counterspell. Yeah, that damping sphere, or damping stone, whatever it's called, is super cool. That'll see a lot of legacy play. Fuck. 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 We're super dead. Let me think if we have any outs. If I draw a recruiter, I can recruiter for a second body. So I could, like, recruiter, get Crusader. The Crusader would die to the 2 Jitte counters my opponent's going to get this turn. I would live one more draw step, but be in the same spot where nothing I can draw gets me out of it. I guess I could draw Swords to Plowshares. I hate getting beat to death by my own cards. It's so disappointing. What happened against Delver? Had to eat dinner. We won pretty handily. We got there with double equipment two games in a row. Alright, and we'll concede to that. So game 1 loss to Dack and Gurmag. And my Jitte. Alright, we'll be on the play for the next game versus a Grixis control deck featuring Dack. ThrabenU may or may not be punishing Dack. This is sort of an awkward matchup to sideboard for, in a lot of ways, because against the young Pyromancer Gurmag Angler portion of the deck, you want more removal, but against the control portion of the deck, you want more stuff like this. So, like, this is the pile of cards that we could consider. It's a lot of cards. Now, obviously, we can't bring all of this in. We have to decide how we want to fight this pile. Judge's Familiar is probably anemic. Revoker is probably good, but unreliable. And it's also an artifact, which is maybe not where we want to be. The rest of this core is solid. Maybe on the play, I'm not supposed to, like, go and play all these paths. Maybe I don't need the 3rd recruiter. And then I just need to trim one thing. Drawing 1 Flicker Wisp is probably fine. So, Medea, how much to donate to get a red-white sideboard guide? Matchups and what to board out and why. Instead of sub, I want to donate for a good reason. Sure. So let me talk about that at the end of this match. Because I have some thoughts there, and I'll make sure that, like, you're still on board with what I want to do before I have you donate. This hand is great. Sans Batterskull. Like, we'll get to just... If my opponent has no relevant play, we just, like, play Jitte on 2. If they have an early creature like a Deathrite Shaman, we Swords that and Wasteland them. Alright, opponent now knows everything. Gitaxian Probe's a good magic card. Oh, you're typing out on an iPad. Opponent shuffled with that ponder. For the record, I don't want to show them this plains that I drew, so instead I will just go ahead and cast the Jitte now. And it gets in there. Opponent will probably just take it with a Dack, and I'll be sad, but whatever. Gitaxian Probe is a really, really good Magic card. I don't think it's ban-worthy or anything, I just think it's very, very good. OP digging for that Dack. Fatal Push for Mom here. Alright, well. Let's flop this little buddy out here. See if they have a force for him. Yeah, he just pushed my mom. I do have the force. See if they have the Dack to make my life terrible. Nope. It's just gonna like Snapcaster Ponder. Oh yes, surely the opponent boarded out the Dack, anticipating the Mana Tithe. Unfortunately, our Judge's Familiar can't Mana Tithe that. Do I want to tick this up to 3? I think I do. I don't want to Council's Judgment that. I will just clear this body out, though, and then Wasteland my opponent. So, exactly why I Swords the Snapcaster Mage is happening. You know, when my opponent gets something like a Cabal Therapy and they just have creatures sitting around, they get a lot of value out of it. We haven't had a port this entire game. So, no. If that was a port, yeah, I probably would have taken a turn to port them and then just filed in the Crusader. Alright, opponent is punishing Dack. How do I want to do this turn? I can just, like, play Flicker Wisp and equip. I can go to my end step, Flicker Wisp out the Pyromancer. Or I can just hold the Pyromancer. Or hold the Flicker Wisp. I think I'm just going to hold. I want my opponent to tap out or low, if at all possible. Again, with this knowing exactly what I have thing. Alright, opponent down to 1 card here. Yeah, holding up the Wisp plays around Dack and other sorcery speed removal. Opponent making no attack. Use that to kill an elemental token. Do you have the Punishing Fire? I don't care if you just have a Lightning Bolt. Yeah, that's fine. I care if you draw Punishing Fire. I care less if you draw Punishing Fire now. No, I don't think I want to hold until they cast a spell. Like, if they don't have a removal spell there, I just win the game. Like, that's a great position to be in. Like, you have to call bluffs from time to time. Opponent has gotten an absurd amount of value out of their Cabal therapies this game. Yeah, Rest in Peace would be awesome here. It's not the best draw. Because we're out of equipment. Oh, wait. We didn't find anything. We're not really in the position to play around days or equivalent. This Gideon probably just, like, eats a counterspell of some nature. Oh, it doesn't. I can immediately Emblem. If I plus, they have a lot to get through. Or, excuse me, if I zero, they have a lot to get through. I think I'm just going to zero. If they expend most of the rest of their resources killing the Gideon, that's fine. If they don't, some cool things happen. I will sacrifice a Stoneforge Mystic. So what does a zero accomplish? If I zero, they Lightning Bolt, blow up one of my creatures, I'm left with very little. So, like, in order to get rid of this Gideon, they sort of, like, suboptimally use 2 removal spells. That's okay. If I had zeroed the Gideon, I'd be left with a 2/3 Stoneforge. And that would have just died after an elemental token. So, like, that's all okay to me. I'm going to get both young pyromancers off the board. And hopefully just beat elemental tokens with whatever's on the top of my deck. Land does not do a great job of helping me there. I will hold this in the hopes that my opponent will like Cabal Therapy me. Thanks for stopping by, Goblin Lackey. Yeah, so like my opponent paid for a Taxing Probe with mana to just see what was in my hand there. That's all fine to me. It looks like we're just gonna like flood this one out and lose. With any creature, especially a Flicker Wisp, I'm still in fine shape. Damn it. Alright, now my opponent just takes my Jitte and I'm dead. Opponent definitely should have just taken the Jitte. Absolutely should have just taken the Jitte. Like, I have mana to cast all of my stuff very, very easily. If I have a 3-drop there and Violet in response, it's kind of catastrophic. I'm drawing very poorly, so I can't really do much about that. What is my line? I probably have to just Council's Judgment Dack and go to 1. And then I don't know what I draw to beat 4 elementals. Probably nothing. But I can't, like, Needle, like, get rid of Needle and expect to, like, draw a creature, Jitte, equip, and get there because of the Dack would just, like, take the Jitte and invalidate that plan. I believe I have no outs. I can't, like, Recruiter into, like, another Recruiter. That's not good enough. Flicker Wisp isn't good enough. I don't think I have Cataclysm in. That's still not good enough. Yep, alright. Punishing Dack's a really bad matchup, so I'm not mad about losing that one. I'll just fix my notes. That was Punishing Dack, not Grixis Control. So, game 2, lost to Young Pyro tokens and Dack. So no, so they have 4 tokens, right? So if I put them to 3 tokens and I draw Flicker Wisp or Recruiter, that can only get rid of 2, and then I'm still dead on the following hit. Yeah, so the first striker equip line doesn't work due to Dack. All right, folks, I'm going to take about 30 seconds, run to the restroom. I'm going to go ahead and leave our Hoot Hoot deck list up for you all to look at. If you have any comments about them or any questions, feel free to go ahead and throw that in the chat. And then someone else had a question for me that I said I would get back to about donations, and I'll answer that in just a second. Alright, sorry about the delay, stream. I'm back. Let me go ahead and answer some questions here. Alright, so regarding donations. Below the stream I have my donation information. Generally speaking, my big two numbers are, if you want me to stream an extra league, it's $12. If you want me to create a piece of content, that's usually going to be about $20. If you want to finance something that is a bit bigger, email me directly. My contact information is very available through Thraben University. So specifically, there was a question about writing a sideboard guide for Red-White. Here is my opinion on sideboard guides. I believe that sideboard guides are a crutch and are bad for people's development as Magic players. And I will never put a sideboard guide on Thraben University because I believe that they get outdated quickly, and changing even one card in your deck can change how you sideboard for a matchup. Now, that being said, I am very happy to write an article about sideboarding. Like, I would be fine with writing an article on, hey, here's how to approach some matchups. You know, if you are playing against, you know, an aggro, a control, a combo deck, these are the sort of things that you can sideboard. These are the things that usually go in and out together. You know, how do I think about some matchups? How is sideboarding changing? I'd be very, very happy to write an article like that. And again, that would be, you know, a $20 piece of content. So I forget who exactly was asking about that, but, you know, that's the sort of thing that I would be willing to be doing. So it won't be like a check pile in this, Grixis Delver out that sort of thing. You know, some of that's already available under my matchups tab, but I'm very willing to talk about sideboarding and how to get better at sideboarding. Alright, so thank you all for joining me tonight. I'm Phil Gallagher, and we're trying to hoot people. Judges familiar in Legacy, let's go. So we just lost that one. So we beat Grixis Delver, we lost to Punishing Dack. We expect to lose to Punishing Dack, we expect to beat Grixis Delver, so that's it's about where we're supposed to end up. Why isn't that showing up as a win? Oh, because it says we won 3 times. Alright, so game 2 result was a loss. Did that fix my data? Yes, it fixed my data. Oh, I'm playing against the mediocre man with what looks to be a great hand. F-Freak, thank you very much, and when you donate, please include a message in your donation to remind me what you are donating for. That's very, very helpful for me. I don't want to, like, you know, not do what I said I would do. Alright, no data on my opponent, so I'm just going to keep what is a great hand. It's really hard to ship an Aether Vial hand on the play. It's impossible to ship an Aether Vial double Wasteland hand. Like, this is probably going to be really good. Unless my opponent is playing something like Death and Taxes, where they can just avoid the whole Wasteland portion of the hand. Gobbo? Chat? Chat? Whew. And there's a lackey. How long will it take you to write an article of that kind? A few days. That's the sort of thing that would likely be done within a week to week and a half. I do need to finish my, like, opening hand mulligan article first, so that would happen first, followed by that. I don't have any other things in the queue other than those. Alright, if my opponent has Tarfire or equivalent, then getting Batterskull is really, 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 really bad. So I'm just going to get Sword of Fire and Ice. It's still quite good in the matchup and can let me push through a stalled board. I also have like a flyer and a jitte at the ready anyway, so that's fine. So like another Goblin plus Gem Palm Incinerator would be kind of annoying. Alright, there's the Tarfire. Alright, chat, shit's hitting the fan. Anything could happen here. Anything could happen here. This is terrifying. What the? Is that the land one? Yeah? Alright. Well met, opponent. I have not seen Goblin Settler in play outside of Cube. Ever. Yeah. Alright. Alright. I have choices for what I want to do with my life. I think I'm just going to hold up Flicker Wisp and potentially Flicker Wisp out Goblin Chieftain to prevent a whole bunch of shitheads from crashing in. Alternatively, I might just Flicker out Goblin Lackey. Opponent has 2 cards. Just gonna Flicker out that Lackey. We'll press F6 and see if our Flicker Wisp is still alive to take over the game. I'm not sure it will be. Yep. Well, yes, I would like to use Recruiter of the Guard's ability. This is just going to get another Flicker Wisp. We're going to equip a sword. And I don't want to waste land. I need my lands. They don't need theirs. Hey Welshman, we're doing well. We're playing Judge's Familiar. The Judge's Familiars have not been good tonight. They've been boarded out in like every matchup. We haven't played against Combo yet. We're currently 1-1 in this league. Goblin Settler taking our planes was pretty rough. That was the highlight of this game so far. Alright. So, I'm going to say something that sounds kind of weird, but bear with me, chat. I'm going to block Goblin Settler in case my opponent is playing Kiki Jiki. I want to play around that. That is a thing that I want to play around. Because I don't think I can beat a Kiki Jiki. Ah, this is exactly what I didn't want to happen. Fuck. Hold on. I need to read Tuk Tuk Scrapper. Does that have to be, like, cast or anything? No, I'm thinking of a different one. Okay. Alright, well, you get one of my two equipments. You should probably take Sword of Fire and Ice here, because then you get my... Or no, you don't get the Recruiter, actually. Yeah, we're like straight up legitimately playing against goblins here. Alright, so what am I doing? I'm equipping with Recruiter, I'm attacking in, I'm getting 2 Jitte counters. I'm playing Flicker Wisp, blinking Goblin Chieftain, using the Jitte counters to remove both Goblin lackeys. That is what is happening. Yep, that's fine. So we blink out Goblin Chieftain, causing Goblin Matron to die. We get rid of a lackey. We get rid of a lackey. We play a land. We re-equip Jitte. No, Goblins is a real legacy deck that largely has been outclassed by D&T as sort of like the Aether Vial deck of that ilk, and Deathrite Shaman has done terrible, terrible things to that deck. My life total is somewhat in jeopardy. I don't know that I just want to take 5 here. If I block this Goblin Chieftain and have 2 counters on Jitte, my follow-up creatures are probably good enough to just win. Depends on how good my opponent's follow-up card is. blocking effectively gives me more life, but attacking leaves me in a better position if my opponent has blanks. But I think I'm just going to go ahead and block here. Because, like, the answer to that is because I wanted to equip the Flicker Wisp with Jitte. That is my answer to that question. That's gross. This gets me my Batter Skull. I could Wasteland them twice. That probably doesn't matter a ton. I'll just equip to Stoneforge and hold up Flicker Wisp forever. Yeah, so like they probably don't play literally the card Lightning Bolt. That's probably not in their deck. It would play around something stupid like Goblin Grenade, though, for example. Which still is pretty unreasonable, but, you know. A Goblin Chieftain. Okay. Seems like kind of a weird attack to me. But whatever. Oh shoot, I thought I had Jitte counters on this. Oops. Whatever, it's fine. Oh, I did have Jitte counters, I just couldn't see them for some reason. Or activate the abilities. Oh, I must have been mid-blocks. Mid-declare blocks, so that's why I couldn't do it. Suboptimal line there, sorry about that. Yeah, 100% unquestionably a pun. Yep. It shouldn't matter, we're extremely far ahead at this point, but, you know, a punt's a punt's a punt. Alright, opponent scoops it up. So, we're playing Hoot Hoot. We're playing against Goblins. We're on the play. And we win. Opponent is Mediocre Man. Game 1, stabilize with equipment at 5 life. Alright, so we're playing against Goblins. It's sort of an awkward deck in that we want targeted spot removal for Lords and Goblin Lackey, but targeted spot removal's bad against a lot of the rest of the deck. We probably want Path. Containment Priest is probably good enough. And then we run into like the pile of cards that are sort of average that we can bring in. Chromax makes you think it's a Goblin Instigator build. That's fair. It's very possible. So, like, again, this is not a good hoot-hoot matchup. It'll probably come out. Some number of Arthalias will come out. It's not an effect. Like, the taxation effect isn't particularly relevant in this matchup. But, like, it as a 2/1 first strike isn't that bad. And, again, Wingmare is something that flies, so it has evasion, but, like, we might not want that. Crusader's sort of average. And, like, all of these cards are sort of average. So, like, whether or not a Wingmare is better than some of this stuff is unclear. The reason Gideon is here is to, like, 0 and make your stuff the same size as theirs. That might be too rough on the draw, though, but considerable on the play. So let's just keep 2 more bodies, maybe. I guess the Wingmares. This hand is acceptable. It has a turn 1 and a turn 2 play, and one of these is something that answers Goblin Lackey. I'll keep my hand. It's even better in the face of a mulligan. We still are going to need some help from off the top to seal the deal on this one. Like, once I play this Thalia, I can't play the Sword of Fire and Ice. Even if I draw 1 land. With 1 land, I can either Flicker Wisp or Recruiter. Probably Recruiter first. Yeah, I don't have Forge Tender. If my opponent has Pyrokinesis, they can sure try to get there. Alright, we have the removal spell for the turn 1 Lackey. That Wasteland's going to be pretty good. Opponent's Ether Vial is going to be great. Alright, their Ether Vial is going to be less great. And 100% just jamming this on Ether Vial, no question. Opponent doesn't have red mana to actually get rid of this card right now. That might change. Alright. I am officially trying to hamstring my opponent before they remove this Phyrexian Revoker. Really love my position if I hit a land before they do. If they hit the land first, depends on what's in the rest of their hand. Oh, great. I'm going to play Containment Priest before anything else. I do not want this Revoker to die, and me to just get fucked. what is next? What am I afraid of? Slightly afraid of something like Pyrokinesis. Like, that's a real Goblins card. It's not a joke. To play around Pyrokinesis, I should probably play Sword of Fire and Ice rather than a 1 toughness creature. Opponent wants full value Pyrokinesis. They sure do. Alright, well, this is the moment where if they have Pyrokinesis, they get to get me. Tarfire. Alright. They play 2 Pyrokinesis right now? Okay. That's good to know. You know, like, so every turn from here on out, we get to put them to the Sword of Fire and Ice test, right? If we get that on the Containment Priest becomes impossible to kill without a combination of 2 cards, starting with Artifact Removal, followed by, like, Tarfire or Incinerate or Pyrokinesis. Alright, so they have the second Tarfire. They'll get to, like, put in a Lord or something. A Matron. Matron will get Lackey, I guess, to try to dump the rest of the shit out of their hand. Yeah, so we more or less kind of walked through how this all was going to go. No surprises here. Alright, if I didn't draw a land, I was pretty likely to just Flickerwisp their Vial to set them back. Since I did draw the land, I'm just going to, like, play Thalia, equip Thalia, and have a very, very, very solid blocker on the ground. Two main, one side on the Pyro? I didn't know they were playing Pyro at all in the main. Thought that was like a post-sideboard game thing only. That's interesting. Alright, Warren Instigator. Whoever called that correctly earlier due to the Chrome Mox, good on you. Would love to spike land. It's probably the best draw in my deck. So that I can go Jitte and equip. Second Thalia is not a bad draw. I can just put my opponent dead on the next turn if I just shoot them directly. But you kind of have to watch out for Goblins just, like, fucking going ham on you out of the middle of nowhere. So I'm just going to kill the Warren Instigator. Tap this. I get to put in a Revoker, revoke their Vial. and my violin too, in turn, obviously. I'm going to want something to block the Goblin Lackey. That's probably just a recruiter. Revoking Vial is sweet. People should do it more often. It's even better when it just can't be responded to, because, you know, you did it off your own Vial activation. Sure, the line I took allows me to just chump block the Goblin Lackey with Recruiter of the Guard, and then have further protection on my next turn, without, like, just giving up a Thalia for no good reason. So that's why I did that, instead of just, like, the Thalia line that you discussed. Oh yeah, the D&T mirror and, like, the pseudo-mirrors like Merfolk and Goblin often come down to exactly that. Like, I got ahead with my Vial, I slam something with it, I shut off your Vial, I wasteland you. Oh, there we go, that's the game. Alright, cycle Jim Palm Incinerator. That'll, I guess, have to cycle on the Revoker. So that they have some chance of getting back in this game. Yep. So the issue is, like, Pyro Board Wipe isn't enough right now. This Thalia still is pretty damn good. So, like, they'll try to refill their hand here. But that's probably not enough. Alright, Tuk Tuk Scrapper, Warren Instigator, Mountain, Cavern of Souls. So nothing that's really relevant. All I have to do is, like, chump block with the Recruiter on the Goblin Lackey, and then I just continue taking over the game as I was doing. Yep, easy enough. Alright, so game 2, we're on the draw, and we win. So game 2, win with Sword of Fire and Ice after early disruption. Alright, Hoot Hoot build doing well, despite the fact that we keep boarding out all the Hoot Hoots. Please let me play against a combo deck once in this queue so that the judges' familiars can do something. So for anyone who doesn't know me, hi, my name's Phil Gallagher. I run ThrabenU University, and tonight we're streaming Judges, Familiars, Death and Taxes. If you've been enjoying this content, this is my 3rd stream of the day since I got a snow day. You know, feel free to follow, and if you really like what I'm doing and you want to support it, feel free to donate or subscribe. You get this sweet Thalia emote if you do that the chat's spamming. Hoot Hoot, Hooting Mandrills. Oh, we could have Hoot Hoot Tribal and play Judges Familiar and Hooting Mandrills in the same deck, along with Aven Mind Sensor. Yeah, Hooting Mandrills is a sweet card in Rug Delver. And occasionally in other weird decks that can somehow fit it in. Alright, we're playing against Maverick again. Opponent has to close my stream. We're going to keep this hand. It's a little soft in this matchup, but it's hard to throw back a mom hand in the mirror or Maverick type matchups. Hoot Hoot also does not do well in this matchup. Yes, that is correct. Who is the favorite versus Maverick and D&T? It's really close. Like, it is very, very close to a 50-50 matchup. The matchup goes very, very long. On Magic Online, like, it often comes down to time, if I'm being completely honest. Maverick has bigger creatures. Well, nobody gets to do anything now. Yes. To clarify, punishing Maverick, definitely bad matchup. Regular Maverick, pretty close to 50-50. Alright, opponent's got a death right. I value getting Flickerwisp power in play here over everything else. I know I can like Judge's Familiar and Port, but I want to close out the game, and my opponent probably only has one flyer in their deck in the form of Scrib Ranger. So the Flickerwisp represents a relatively swift clock that can't be messed with. So I guess I can target my opponent's Mother of Runes, make them protect that, and then sneak in 2 points of damage with the Thalia that I couldn't otherwise. How's the Maverick when you have 4 Judges Familiar? Worse. Definitely worse. Fuck. Scrib Ranger has Pro Hoot Hoot? That's some shit. Ban Scrib Ranger. Ruiner of fun. So I do think, like, I think my opponent protecting their Mother of Runes is a small misplay. I think they were just supposed to target the Deathrite Shaman, anticipating my attack. Like, since I played the turn, like, my land for turn, and there's a Thalia in play, like, there's no way I can have anything that matters there. I'm pretty sure Hoot Hoot is a ruiner of fun. I don't know what you are talking about. He just likes books. Look at him. Look at him. I guess that doesn't make the picture bigger. Can I make the picture bigger? I don't think I can make the picture bigger. But he's cool. Alright, opponent choosing to leave up some mana, which seems to indicate something like an Abrupt Decay. I'm going to play out my stuff first and see if, like, how my opponent reacts. If they have some, like... Opponent responds, yes! Hoot hoot! Now I'll just go ahead and get in with the Flickerwisp and we'll see what happens. The answer is probably Scrib Ranger, right? So the answer is Scrib Ranger. If I let my opponent go to blocks and block, we both tap our moms, or we accept the trade. Am I okay with accepting the trade, or do I just want to open myself up to a removal? No, I don't actually open myself up to a removal spell if I protect, because any 1-mana removal spell costs 2, and Judge's Familiar could counter it. I will open myself up to a removal spell on the following turn, but that's okay. Yeah, opponent is a friend of the stream. Now I'll cast this Revoker and see what they do. I'm going to name Deathrite here to keep them bottlenecked on mana. Like, with the Revoker on Deathrite, the Thalia, and the Judge's Familiar, it's hard to get anything done. See if opponent just plays a big boy of some nature. Alright, Abrupt Decay my mom. Yep. Alright, now we don't have a good attack. We'll Flicker Wisp our Revoker, and we'll now set that to Mother of Runes instead, now that we don't have a mom. It's big. Yeah, it's real big. Oh, shit! Alright. Okay. That's good. Everything's fine, chat. Remain calm. And play batters. Oh, fuck me. Can't play Batterskull because of Thalia. Get in there, Thalia. Go, go, go. Oh yeah, we're throwing Thalia under the bus, or we're getting 2 points of unblockable damage. This is the best bluff ever. I need to remember this bluff for the future. Have 5 lands, 1 card in hand, start tapping mana, attack with Thalia. This is a bluff that goes in the book for later. My opponent says, I look forward to seeing later what's up with that attack. That's what's up with that attack. This game is awesome. Yeah, I don't think my opponent is supposed to block there. I think they're supposed to just let that happen. Like, that is such a crazy, weird-looking attack that, like, clearly something is wrong if I'm making that attack. Ramonap. My arch nemesis is back again. Ramonap Horizon Canopy is sweet. Yeah, this game's super weird. Fuck. Can't counter that with Judge's Familiar either. Alright. Yeah. 3 drops are bad. 5 drops are worse. Can't even Caracas that Sigarda. We've sure gotten a lot of Womp Womps today, haven't we, chat? So my opponent can Scrib Ranger to untap the Sigarda at instant speed, which is really unfortunate. That means that I can't just, like, attack in with the Batterskull to realistically gain 4. Or maybe I can. No, I don't think I can. Maybe I can. So if I attack him with the Batterskull, my opponent bounces a land, blocks with Sigarda, protects, I lose the Germ. I then Flicker Wisp my Flicker Wisp to Flicker Wisp my Flicker Wisp to Flicker Wisp the Mother of Runes on their end step. Then they Scrib Ranger, protect, untap Mother of the Runes, are down another land. Maybe I do want to make that attack to just cut them off of 2 lands and make it so they can't just, like, keep replaying Horizon Canopy bullshit. I think I like that. This game is crazy. Really enjoying this one. Yep. Alright, so are you going to protect, or are you just going to let me, like, gain 4? Because I'm fine with just gaining 4. Alright, we begin. Flicker Wisp, my Flicker Wisp. Get back Flicker Wisp, my Flicker Wisp. Magic's great. I can't take them off of any one color. I think I want to make them make the choice about whether or not they want to draw a card with this right now. And if they do want to draw a card, it takes them off of 2 mana. Yeah, that's fine. My opponent's pretty far ahead. Kinda need them to mess up. Or I need to top deck a Revoker to get back in this game. Sigard is messing me up pretty good. The Hoot Hoots are real. Not quite real enough to get that Swords to Plowshares that took my Revoker, but they're trying. Alright, Thalia, that's fine. Still taking these hits. I'm not quite at the point where I want to start chump blocking. Alright, we're gonna try to flicker the Mother of Runes, and that shouldn't work. But I've been wrong before. Didn't work. Rats. Okay, so what I want is to attack in for 10. My opponent untaps Sigarda. I kill Mother of Runes in response to the activation, take a bunch on the backswing, and then take over the game. Alright, Scrub Ranger untaps Sigarda. I'll just take your mom now. That's happening no matter what. So I'll lose either 2 Flicker Wisps or the Flicker Wisp and the Judge's Familiar here. I think my opponent is supposed to block the Judge's Familiar because Scrib Ranger is pro-blue, but that's not something that is obvious unless you've played this matchup a couple of times. Alright. Opponent now gets to gain 2 life. Again, we'll force them to make that Horizon Canopy decision right now. Tyler, I mean, I obviously agree. But, like, as far as mental shortcuts go, the mental shortcut for Scrib Ranger in this matchup is that the protection doesn't matter. So, like, I understand my opponent missing that. Now I need to top deck a land in order to get this Batterskull equipped. Come on, land. That's not a land, but that's pretty good. Oh, I just need to empty this. Sure. Yeah, I'm still in really bad shape. So, like, my opponent drains me for 2, I go to 5, and then I can jump block Sigarda and still be dead. It's unfortunate. I guess I can leave back both creatures, and then chump block Sigarda, trade with Ramunap, and draw Flicker Wisp to reset Batterskull. Okay. Yeah, sure. Like, I'm going to lose to the Deathrite Drains in 1 to 2 turns anyway. But, like, you can always count on opponents to make mistakes, so you play out until the opponent actually kills you. Alright, so we have this pile of fair cards that we can bring in. Hoot Hoot, not great here. We'll probably cut some to all of the Thalias. They're not amazing. And then we'll reconsider some of these cards we're boarding in. Like, the additional removal's good, getting rid of Mom's important, and answering all of this other stuff is great, but then I need to make 2 other cuts. Can probably just be Wingmares. Like, Wingmare is flying, which is good. But, maybe a flyer is just better than Gideon. It's close. But I'm going to take the Gideon. Like, the games go slow. My opponent says, lol, there's a weird bug where I can't submit 60 cards. Huh. I would like to play first. This hand's fine. I don't have Joe Cool facts on this channel. I'm not in that crowd. Playing the Aether Vial over just like jamming the Stoneforge there to, you know, play around opposing removal to what degree that I can. And the Aether Vial will do a lot of good over time. Ugh, opponent jams Sylvan Library. That's pretty good in the face of our no pressure. Gonna play around Containment Priest by just doing this now. My opponent is unlikely to have anything that significantly matters for me doing this at beginning, like right now or at end step. If they have something like a Zealous Persecution, they'll hold that up until my end step anyway. No, I can't revoke Library. It's a trigger. It used to be worded as an activated ability, but no longer. I'm going to go ahead and just play out the Jitte. This will expose it to something like a Qasali Pride Mage or a Green Sun Zenith for a Reclamation Sage, but then I have Stoneforge Mystic for another piece of equipment. Scrib Ranger. Yeah, that can be a thing. I'm not going to pull the trigger on that yet. Now that my opponent has fetched 3 basics out of their deck, they're probably out of basics, so this Path to Exile is probably optimal at this point. Deathrite Shaman, you bet. You want to attack me, do you? I think I'm just going to let that happen. That did give them a shuffle for the Sylvan Library. Just going to revoke the Scrib Ranger so that it can't untap itself. Say no to this Ether Vial. Equip the Revoker. See if my opponent has like a disenchant effect. Blech. Not much I can do about that. In case my opponent has a 5-drop like Sigarda in hand, I kind of want to just remove the Scrib Ranger right now, while it's still revoked. I don't think that Wasteland needed to happen now. I think it's much better to wait and see, like, what you can do with the Sylvan Library. There's nothing I'm going to do with, like, one Wasteland there that, like, really matters. Whereas, like, the 4th mana very well could matter for something like Green Sun Zenith for Night. I'm going to leave this at 2 for the moment. And I think hold this land, because if I play the land, my opponent is likely to just, like, wasteland my wasteland. That's not a winning proposition. I'd rather wait a turn or two down the line where I can just, like, take this out with equipment and then wasteland them. Oh, White Faces, sorry you're experiencing lag, but at least you have identified that it's on your end. We had a little bit of trouble earlier on my end when it was just, like, absolutely dumping down snow, but it's gotten better now. Opponent's got a tough choice with Sylvan Library here, apparently. The issue is probably whether or not they can afford to draw one more card off of it. Oh, Pride Mage is rough. I think my Batterskull 100% is eating it. Keeping that in mind, I'm going to go ahead and put it in now, where my opponent is going to pay a mana, get rid of it, and then I can get in with Jitte. And then, after one Jitte attack, the Stoneforge beats Crucible Snake in combat. Alright, we're seeing a removal spell here. Looks like Abrupt Decay. Again, we'll hold the Wasteland until we need the mana to do something with it. If I do it before combat, then my opponent has the choice to not do it, not make the attack, and just hold the Quasali Pride Mage, which means my next turn is basically wasted. So I like the line that I took. Alright, we have huge upside for drawing a Flickerwisp here, so I'm going to go ahead and tick the Vial up. I'll hold up Stoneforge activations and still not play out the lands. And, by deduction, my opponent should know that I have Sword of Fire and Ice in hand, and they can play around it by not doing anything with the Knight, or going and getting Maze of Ith with Knight. This probably just gets Horizon Canopy, though, and my opponent starts going ham. Ugh, this combo is so good. Rest in peace, one-time dealer. I don't know if I like that attack. If I have a Mirran Crusader, it's super bad to lose that card. But they might just have a handful of gas at this point, though, and they don't care if they lose it. Alright, my opponent has to have something here. Let's see what they have. Decay the Sword. Alright. Is that it? Alright. I'm going to Swords to Plowshare something. I am more scared of Ramunap drawing them infinite cards and wasting me off everything for the rest of the game than I am just, like, dying to a giant Knight of the Reliquary. If I die to a giant Knight of the Reliquary, I accept. But it's very possible that my opponent doesn't have very many other, like, really good utility lands to fetch out. Again, no reason to, like, really do this waste right now. I think you should almost always wait to wasteland on your turn unless you have a very good reason not to. I don't think we're out of this game. Like, let's say we top deck a Mirran Crusader or a Rest in Peace. We're in amazing shape all of a sudden. My opponent still has a lot of cards. So, like, if their cards are good, we're dead. But if their cards are medium or attack along, like, the same sort of axis, so that, like, a Rest in Peace just wipes it all, awesome. Is that a Gideon? Green Sun for 3. Okay. That should probably just be a Rex Sage to blow up my vial. Nope. Just going the big boy plan. So technically I can live for one more turn by double chump blocking. If I double chunk block, how do I get out of this? I get out of this by drawing Recruiter of the Guard for Mirran Crusader. Not 100% dead, just like 95.9% dead. Alright, now we have no outs to a third creature. Alright. So we're on the play and we lost. So game 2, loss to Zealous Persecution. I know that's not the card that killed us, but that is the card that won the opponent the game. Unquestionably, that 3-for-1 was amazing. Alright, let's roll into our last match of the night here. Yeah, that was a great game. I really enjoyed that. A lot of interesting decision points. Your Zealous Persecution crushed me in that game. You know, unquestionably won you game 2 when that happened. The 3-for-1 was really savage. Game 1 was really interesting with a lot of back and forth, many decision points. So for any of you who are tuning in for the first time, hi, my name's Phil Gallagher. I run ThrabenU University, and tonight we're streaming with Judges Familiar in Legacy. Although it has gotten boarded out in all 4 rounds because we haven't gotten paired against any sort of combo deck. So, hoping to get paired against a combo deck that that D&T is also good against, and not like elves this round, so that we can like actually hoot some people. This is kind of the reason why I'm not playing Judge's Familiar, even though some people are pretty high on the card. It's just really mediocre in a lot of matchups. It does help many of the worst matchups, like against the turn 1 to 2 combo decks. It's another card that really, really matters. But so much of Legacy right now is just fair mid-range stuff. I'm playing against non-basic land. I don't have any data on them. I'm on the draw. I'll keep a nice Ether Vial hand on the draw. Alright. Playing against non_basic_land. In all seriousness, you think Judge's Familiar is bad? Well, there is a reason why we're playing Judge's Familiar in a bonus stream rather than me streaming with Judge's Familiar every day. I mean, let's put it that way. Looks kind of like my opponent is playing Miracles. I'm just going to resolve this second Ether Vial now. It'll give us a lot of tempo in the long run. And then we have end of turn, put in Mom. My turn, put in Thalia, have Caracas back up. Sounds great. Probably get Terminus and fucking die, but whatever. Alright, opponent plays Show and Tell. Not Miracles. Not jamming the Thalia was super punishing. Despite the fact that I can put in a Stoneforge and just get value that way, if my opponent puts in Omniscience, I really don't want them to get a cantrip kill this turn. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and put in Thalia. Yeah, Judge's Familiar would be real awesome right here. So we're dead to Omniscience, Emrakul. Damn it, Hoot Hoot. Where were you when we needed you? All league, you've been terrible. And then here, where you would have been grand, you weren't around. Alright, so game 2, or game 1, lost to turn 3, Omni, Emrakul. Alright, so what do we get for this matchup? Canonist and Priest are great. Cooter and Council's Judgment are average. We'll consider Crusader just as a generic beater. What's bad? Swords to Plowshares is pretty terrible. Jite's pretty bad. And we'll probably trim on the Stoneforge Mystic package a bit. What does that give us? That all seems fine. This is not a great hand. It's not bad enough to throw back, but it's not optimal. Like, it has Thalia plus Wasteland as disruptive elements, and a sword for if that's enough. But since I'm not playing like a Leonin Relic Order or something like that in this 75, you know, this sort of hand is kind of as good as it gets, you know. If the first Thalia gets countered, we have a second one. It's about the best we can hope for. Hey, Ravon Henson, thank you very much for subscribing. I do appreciate the support. If you didn't catch them earlier today, I did 2 other streams today, so there's some video content for you to catch up on if you've enjoyed this. Yeah, I've stated my feelings on Spiritual Labyrinth many times. Card's a fucking scumbag. Unplayable piece of garbage, can't attack through anything. So much that I hate it so much that it's gonna be the next emote. Alright, opponent went bottom top with their Preordain. They play a Petal to play around the Thalia. So we play the Thalia. I actually have a pretty positive Sneak and Show matchup with the red-white build, but an abysmal matchup with the mono-white build. Alright, we just got getting fucking Show and Telled again. Oh, we're getting Blood Moon. Deal. That takes you off of like 2 mana sources here. We're playing against Sneak and Show. We're down a game, but they used a Lotus Petal and their Soul Lands to cast Blood Moon. So, there's that. I'm gonna make a bluff here and tap 2 mana and think about it for a minute, and then untap it and just pass the turn to represent the fact that I might have a Containment Priest. Why do I think the red-white version is better in this matchup? So it's going to sound weird, but show and telling in P and K is really good if things go wrong for your opponent. I've raced a lot by doing that. You also play the extra Recruiter and usually a Leonin Relic Warder, sometimes a Containment Priest, or not a Containment Priest, a Palace Jailer. So you just have more ways to interact with them. Alright, opponent Pyroclasms. We'll just continue to play basic lands. Coco Lopez, I believe the stock red-white build is listed under the stream. I also have a list to Thraben University, and the stock red-white list is available there as well. Alright, if they have Show and Tell, Omniscience, Emrakul, this is the turn I die. Alright, it's just a Grizzlebrand. That might be beatable. So I can pro black and hit my opponent for 6 and try to draw into an answer to Grizzlebrand. Recruiter of the Guard should do it. So I can just, like, cast Recruiter, get... Alright, so 1, 2, 3, cast Recruiter, get Flicker Wisp, cast Flicker Wisp, Caracas, bounce Grizzlebrand. Yes, that does it. What land helps them the most? If I get rid of City of Traders, they can fetch, play another land, not cast Show and Tell. If I get rid of Flooded Strand, they can't do anything with red. I'm not afraid of a Pyroclasm, so I'll just go ahead and get rid of City. Produces the most mana. Yeah, so they're still dead to that. I don't think they should have shown me they had a second Pyroclasm. That seems like a mistake. If my opponent is the sort of person who is willing to just flop a Grizzlebrand into play and hope that's good enough, there is some merit in boarding in Path. But the situations where Path is good are very, very few and far between. So Path is only good against Grizzlebrand when your opponent is at a low enough life total that they can't draw 7 or 14 in order to force of will and get it off the table. It's a narrow window where that actually is good. I mean, Pyroclasm is going to be better against things like Grixis Delver because it's cheaper. K-Return is just better against D&T specifically. This hand revokes a Grizzlebrand, but does literally nothing else. This hand's pretty terrible. This hand revokes a Grizzlebrand with Mom backup. It's strictly better than the last one, but still bad. That can go on top. I'm fine with playing a turn 1 Hoot Hoot. This is the Hoot Hoot deciding moment, right? This is the point where we see whether or not it earns its salt. Coco Lopez, thank you very much for subscribing. I do appreciate your support. And I hope we can Hoot Hoot the shit out of my opponent. Good nickname, terrible card. I accept. 100% not attacking with Mom. My opponent showed us multiple copies of Pyroclasm. It'd be a super dangerous prospect. Yeah, the D&T community has definitely become one of the better communities in terms of, like, how much we talk with each other. For a long time, MTG Salvation was kind of the hub for that, and then it's kind of switched to the source. Blood Moon. Deal. That's going to make it really hard for my opponent to resolve, like, a show and tell. Like, because now it costs 4 mana. They took 1 mana away from themselves, and Judge's Familiar can counter it as well, so it effectively costs 5 mana to do correctly. Yeah, the emote is super sweet. I have my opponent on a Fortune Clock as is. My opponent Pyroclasms, they get a 2-for-1 currently because I can protect, like, say, my Thalia, and just give them Mom and Judge's Familiar. They'd have to hit another land to Pyroclasm. If I play out the Flicker Wisp, I can put my opponent on a 2-turn clock, assuming no Pyroclasm, but I'd be much softer to that. I can just go for broke and try to kill my opponent. It seems like they're kind of trying to set up a kill. If they show and tell, I want to put in Flicker Wisp. I don't think the Revoker matters that much. If my opponent has a Pyroclasm and I lose that too, like, so be it. So this'll cut a turn off our clock. Lotus Petal, sure. Lotus Petal, sure. This is gonna be a disgusting Flicker Wisp. Oh my gosh. There's nothing my opponent can do about it. They can't force profitably because of Judge's Familiar. Coco Lopez, 100%. That is the line. We've extended much further into a Pyroclasm than I would like to, but this opportunity is absolutely too good to pass up. Alright, and the Hoot Hoot breaks even. Huzzah! Hey chat, what happened game 2? I missed my notes on game 2. D&T is just as unfair as every other Legacy deck. Its unfairness just happens to be stapled to a bunch of creatures. Oh, that's right, that was a Thalia and Sword game. It was just, like, super uninteractive. Thank you, Coco Lopez. Yes, that's right. So, here was a show in really why not to play Judge's Familiar. It was good in that last game, but in 4 of my 5 rounds here, Judge's Familiar basically did nothing, and that's kind of been the trend for when I've been playing it. In the matchups where it's good, it is very, very good, but in the matchups where it is bad, like, your main deck becomes weaker at the cost of making your fair and grindy matchups better. Oh, I know what I'm going to host. We don't even know that it was good that game, honestly. We don't. Me and Fanny Pack, would you ever think about sharing a blank version of the spreadsheet you use on Thraben University? Yes, I can send that right now. Here is the blank version of the spreadsheet I use. It is not my creation. It is not perfect. Sometimes you have to manually go in and change some things, but it's pretty good. This is a great starting point. Bryant Cook also has a good starting point as well if you're looking for that sort of thing. Do you have any spreadsheet for boarding matchups with the red-white list? No, I don't believe in sideboard guides. I have individual thoughts on my matchup pages for how to sideboard, but I think someone is going to donate to get me to write a, here's some generic sideboarding tips with the red-white list article. No, not another stream. Three streams in one day is all a man can do, you know? Oh, how did I win the last game against Show and Tell? Mom into Thalia, into Revoker on Grizzlebrand, into Flicker Wisp Revoker, onto Lotus Petal when my opponent played out 2 Lotus Petals. So we won via mana denial. Moxel, I am all up for bribery. And, normally speaking, for me to double down and do a second stream at the end of a night, it'd be $20. But after doing 3 streams today, that's all I can do, If you want to bribe me to stream tomorrow night, I'll accept that money and I can do a Tuesday night stream, but I can't do a 4th league reasonably tonight. I'm pretty pooped as is. All right, so thank you all for following me tonight. I hope you enjoyed the Judge's Familiars. We didn't counter as many spells as I wanted with them, but we'll pretend Judge's Familiar kind of got that last round there. I'm going to throw you into a Miracles stream here, and I hope you enjoy. If you enjoyed my content, please follow. I'm looking to grow the stream, and the more the stream grows, the more I'll stream, the more content I'll do for you. And thank you very much for your time.